Please like, share, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. Select all for daily news updates. Sentencing postponed for Trelawney man who killed a cousin, buried body in shallow grave. 28-year-old murder convict Abby J. Teron Powell will have to wait until March 23 to find out the length of his sentence. Powell, who is being represented by attorney-at-law Shellyan Hyman, was scheduled to be sentenced in the Western Regional Gun Court on Thursday, but the sentence was postponed because a social inquiry report ordered by the court was not ready. Additionally, Powell was taken from the Trelawney police lockup to the court for his sentencing. As a result, presiding judge Justice Andrea Thomas postponed the sentencing for just over 1 week and ordered Powell remanded. Powell was convicted for the murder of his cousin Otis Patrick, also known as Ronnie, of Albion Mountain, St. Mary, whose body was discovered in a shallow grave some 6 years ago. The court was told that the then 31-year-old Patrick, a construction worker, was reported missing on March 25, just days after he arrived in Trelawney to work on a retaining wall at a premises owned by Powell. Just over 2 months later, on May 30, investigations led the police to Powell's home, where they discovered Patrick's decomposed body in a shallow grave at the back of the yard. The police reported that a number of large stones and marl were packed into a hole on top of the body, and a plot of corn was planted on top of the grave and in the surrounding area. Powell was later charged with another resident of the house, 28-year-old O'Neil Demetrios, but the co-accused escaped from the Falmouth police lockup and is now on the run. The home of former Permanent Secretary Grace McLean is one of several premises that were targeted in a series of coordinated operations by law enforcement authorities on Friday, sources have confirmed. The search and the seizure operations are related to alleged financial impropriety involving the Ministry of Education and the Joint Committee on Tertiary Education. The operations were conducted at 9 locations, 5 in Kingston and St. Andrew, 3 in St. James, and 1 in Westmoreland, sources disclosed. No arrests were made. However, according to law enforcement sources, several devices and documents linked to the investigation were seized. In 2021, Auditor General Pamela Monroe Ellis recommended that a Portfolio Minister Favour Williams ask the police or an anti-corruption agency to further investigate how $124 million in taxpayers' money was spent by the JCTE. Monroe Ellis revealed that on HeartTrust financial records, $75 million was transferred to JCTE between September 2017 and September 2018 to train 250 students in the Occupational Associate Degree program. The decision to transfer funds directly to JCTE in order to fund a unit within the Education Ministry was questionable, said Monroe Ellis, given that the project charter gave management responsibility for the program to the ministry via the Center of Occupational Studies. The Auditor General reported that the Hart NSTA Trust could not confirm that the $75 million transferred to JCTE was utilized to provide funds to COS in the ministry as stipulated in the project charter. McLean indicated that the ministry did not receive any funds from JCTE. In her probe, Monroe Ellis also found that between February 2019 and June 2020, the Education Ministry, under the leadership of McLean, transferred sums totaling approximately $75.9 million to JCTE using its TRN. Further, despite being informed in January 2020 by the chairman that JCTE had become a private entity, McLean allowed the transfers by the ministry to the committee amounting to $11.2 million between April and June 2020. Monroe Ellis further argued that JCTE Limited had no legal basis to obtain money from the government. Firearm found in barrel in St. James. A collaborative effort between the St. James Police and the Jamaica Customs Contraband Enforcement Team resulted in the seizure of 1 firearm and a magazine at the Seaboard Warehouse in St. James on Thursday, March 16. Reports are that about 5:45 p.m., the team carried out a coordinated search of the warehouse, where 1 disassembled Taurus G3 pistol and a magazine were found in a barrel. The weapon was subsequently seized. Detectives are conducting further investigations into the seizure. Bail extended for woman accused of defrauding football club's sponsor. A St. James woman who allegedly defrauded the sponsor of a Montego Bay-based football club of thousands of dollars is to return to court on March 27, when mediation will be attempted. Tracy Hackett, 49, of Granville, St. James, is charged with a fraudulent conversion of a yet-to-be-determined sum. The complainant was not present on Thursday when the matter was called up for mention in the St. James Parish Court before Parish Judge Sasha Marie Smith Ashley. The court made mention of attorney-at-law Carl Singh in connection with the case, although it is unclear whether Hackett has finalized her arrangement for him to represent her. Hackett, who is out on $400,000 bail, had her bail extended until March 27, when the complainant is expected to be present so that mediation can be explored. According to court documents, the complainant is a sponsor of the Granville Football Club, of which Hackett is the president. On several occasions, the complainant would make payments for transportation for matches outside of St. James for the team. However, it was later revealed that the club did not play any games outside of the parish during the 2022-2023 football season, and that Hackett was collecting the payments, which she utilized for her own benefit. National minimum wage increased to $13,000 weekly. Effective June 1, the national minimum wage will be increased to $13,000 per 40-hour work week. Prime Minister Andrew Holness announced the increase during his budget presentation in the House of Representatives on Thursday evening. Mr. Holness said the increase is to prevent erosion of the income earned by minimum wage workers.
We recognize that the contribution of minimum wage earners, such as household workers, artisans, laborers, store clerks, and security personnel, is vital to the success of our manufacturers, hotel professionals, lawyers, doctors, and teachers in meeting our national productivity and service targets. Therefore, we are pleased to announce that starting June 1, 2023, the national minimum wage will increase from $9,000 per 40-hour week to $13,000 per 40-hour week. We have engaged employers in the security industry to improve the conditions of work for our security guards, ensuring that the necessary statutory payments are made so that they will qualify for housing and national insurance pension. Today, I announce a significant increase in the minimum wage for our industrial security guards. The minimum wage for industrial security guards will move from $10,500 per week to $14,000 per week. The purpose of the differential was to account for the special circumstances of security guards. Now, basically, the security guard is a worker, so an employee, and therefore is covered by the same legal standards. And therefore the need for a differential no longer exists. But we wouldn't have done it in just one go. But we wouldn't just make such a change in one go. So I give notice from now that the differential would be removed.